What if NASCAR's playoff cut line was 10th instead of 16th? And what if Kyle Larson was sitting right on that line with only 3 races left? That is the scenario Dale Earnhardt Jr. believes could completely change the way fans watch the NASCAR playoffs. Jr. says the current 16-driver field may be giving fans too many reasons to stop caring about the cut line, while a smaller field could make every position feel dangerous. And there's a reason he believes this matters right now. Because the playoffs are getting closer, the standings are tightening. And one of NASCAR's biggest stars could be the perfect example of what a 10-driver cutoff would look like. With only 3 races remaining before the playoffs, NASCAR is preparing to send 16 drivers into a 10-race championship battle. On paper, that sounds like plenty of drama, but Jr. sees a problem. He argues that when 16 drivers qualify, the drivers near the bottom of the field do not create the same level of tension because fans already expect the real championship fight to come from much higher in the standings. His argument is not that the drivers in 11th through 16th are bad, or that they do not deserve the opportunity. His point is that the cut line itself does not feel dangerous enough. If a driver is sitting 16th, the question is not necessarily, can this driver win the championship? Instead, the conversation can become simply, can they stay inside the playoff field? And Jr. believes that is where NASCAR could make the postseason much more intense. He has suggested reducing the field to 10, or perhaps 12 drivers. 10 would be his simplest solution, because NASCAR has 10 playoff races. His idea is basically this: if there are 10 races deciding the championship, why not have 10 drivers fighting for it? That would create a much smaller group, where every position carries more weight, and every mistake could have a much bigger consequence. But Jr.'s strongest example was Kyle Larson. Imagine Larson sitting 10th, with 3 races remaining. Suddenly, the defending champion would not simply be preparing for the playoffs. He would be fighting to make the playoffs. Every restart, every pit stop, every stage point, and every Latrace incident would suddenly become part of the championship story. That is the type of situation Jr. believes NASCAR is missing. If Kyle Larson were sitting on the 10th place cutoff, the broadcast would have no choice but to focus on it. Could Larson miss the playoffs? Could one of NASCAR's biggest stars be eliminated before the championship even begins? Those questions would create natural suspense, without NASCAR needing to manufacture anything. And that is why Jr.'s argument is bigger than simply changing a number from 16 to 10. He wants the cut line to actually feel like a cut line. Or Jr. also pointed to NASCAR's own simulations when explaining why he believes the field could be smaller. According to the discussion, those simulations showed that about 85% of the time, the eventual champion started the playoffs inside the top 6. If that trend continues, then the drivers entering the playoffs near the bottom of the field have historically had a much smaller chance of becoming champion. Again, that does not mean they cannot win. NASCAR is unpredictable, and one hot stretch can completely change a championship. But Jr.'s question is whether those lower positions are creating enough drama to justify such a large field. If most champions are already coming from the top group, maybe the championship battle should be concentrated around fewer drivers. And this is where the story gets even more interesting, because Jr. is not coming at this from the outside. He was involved in discussions surrounding the playoff format. He has said that when the format was being developed, he supported the idea of matching the number of playoff drivers to the number of playoff races. 10 races, 10 drivers. It was a simple concept. There would be no confusion about who was truly fighting for the championship. The field would be small enough that making the playoffs would feel like a major achievement, and missing them would feel like a major failure. But there is one huge obstacle standing in the way of that idea: money. And this may be the biggest reason NASCAR is unlikely to shrink the field anytime soon. Making the playoffs has financial value for teams. Owners want the postseason bonus. Sponsors want their cars competing during the final 10 races. Manufacturers want more representation in the championship. Jr. explained that teams have historically viewed making the postseason as potentially worth millions of dollars. So, if you are a team owner, there is an obvious reason to prefer 16 playoff spots over 10. More drivers get in. more teams receive the financial reward, and more organizations get their cars on television during the most important part of the season.